Good evening, everybody. I hope you can see us and you can hear us as we celebrate this lovely Monday evening for our Monday night natter. Today is a very, very exciting day because we can finally reveal one of the new brands that is joining us here at Creative Expressions that we are now going to be distributing across the UK. We'll get onto that in just a moment, I'm sure, once a few of you have joined us. But before we do, how are we all? Are we doing well? As always, if you're first here this evening with us, let us know you can see us and you can hear us, because it would be a joy to know that we're not just stood here talking to ourselves. We tell you this every week, but it has happened before, it will happen again, and it is only you that has the ability to save us from waffling on our own. So please do jump on in the comments, let us know that you can see us and that you can hear us. So isn't it lovely to have it a bit brighter and sunnier now? Me and Pete have been chatting about this. Isn't it nice to see the sunshine coming back and those kind of grey, dull nights becoming slightly more of a thing of the past as we start to move into the spring? I say spring, I don't know if we're classed yet as spring, are we? But it is nice to start to see it getting a bit brighter and a bit lighter, isn't it,
the
Peter?
little daffodils on flower.
Little daffodils are popping up. We know that we're on route to the nice bit of the year here in the UK. Now, I know as many of you join us from around the world, it might be heading into different seasons, but it is in here at the UK quite a nice stage. It's a stage where we start to look forward, which is always lovely. So you've heard him mumble in the background. Let's say good evening before I forget to introduce him, shall we? I am, of course, as always, joined by Pete, who will be on hand to rescue me when I forget something, go and find it in the warehouse, or, of course, in one of the rooms required, to save us from them moments of sheer panic when I realise I haven't got something. So before he gets all flustered and exhausted, let's check in and see where he is, see how he looks this evening.
Dishevelled.
Last week I called you crumpled. I haven't got to call you crumpled this week, have I? You don't look crumpled.
Do I look fresh?
Well, I do think it is. Your new collagen is doing a bit of a trick. I think you're looking less crumpled.
Good evening. Welcome to Monday Night Natter. You are here with myself and James for another night
James,
of fun.
oh, I'm in trouble.
James is in trouble. James William.
James. I've never called James. We'll take it. It's fine.
I hope you're all okay anyway. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, let's have a little look and see who has joined us. We speak of joining, who is here with us this evening. Always feel like I'm channeling the dead. Never good. We don't want to do that. Although it could be fun. You never know. Good evening, Alison. Good evening, May. Good evening, Emma, Deborah, Bethan, Yvonne, Kim, Sue. Oh, and it's jumped. Come back. Where was we? Ali, Jasmine, Lynn, Sarah, Rosie, Joyce. Our lovely Gwen, lovely to have you here with us. We had a lovely weekend, didn't we? Haven't we had a joyous weekend? For those of you that don't know, myself, Gwen and Francoise have all been at Craft Mania doing an amazing demo day. It's been such a joy to be together. We do get up to a bit of mischief, don't we, Pete?
No comment.
When you put all three of us together, including Pete, he does become a very, very naughty little elf at times. But it has been a lovely weekend and very nice. If you hear I'm a bit croaky, I think I've spent far too much of the day on Saturday yabbering away. If you come to the demo, don't hesitate to let us know in the comments what you thought. Unless it's negative, then we don't want to know. No, not really. I'm sure it won't be negative. It was a joy to be with you all. Good evening, Ali. You're saying that you've had sunshine for a couple of hours and it was back to liquid misery. Liquid misery, like that. Lovely to see you all here. I'll leave it over to Pete now to keep up with your comments, and if you have any questions about anything, please don't hesitate to pop them in there and Pete will do his best to read them out and I'll try and help answer them for you. Now this evening, what do I need to tell you? Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you that we are sneaky peeking in a kind of sense, a brand new brand that is joining us here at Creative Expressions. Now this is not one of our brands as in like Crafty Concoctions or jamierodgerscrafts or Woodware that is owned by us. This is one that we are going to be now on distributing, which is really fun because what that means to you guys is it means that we've reached out to one of the brands that we admire, that we like, that we feel you're going to enjoy and you're going to get benefit from, and said to them, oh, we're here, we would love to actually distribute your product for you. And this is one of the conversations that we had at Frankfurt when we went a couple of weeks ago, and it's just kind of snowballed very, very quickly into actually having the products here with us today and being able to already put them on air and bring them to you, and of course letting our stockists know as well that these are out and about, because it's one thing us having them, but it's another thing actually being able to get them into the stockists as well. So literally today our stockists have been able to pre-order them and get them ordered. So keep an eye on stockists over the next few days as they start to announce their arrival. Next week we'll talk a little bit more about telling you which stockists have ordered them, but at the moment we're going to be chatting mostly about the hobby maker shows which are coming up this weekend, because that's going to be your first location to be able to get hold of these that we can guarantee for you. It's the first person through the door that we're going to be able to tell you where they're going to be. Now, these items might already be slightly available because of the company we're dealing with isn't based in the UK. They're actually based in Poland, but they do supply a few locations within the UK already. So you can, of course, have a little look around already, but it is really going to be hobby maker you're going to keep an eye on. So the company we're talking about, it's actually owned by two guys, Maurice and his partner, and they are absolutely lovely. They're a very hard-working team. They've been going for quite a few years now. About 6.5 years that they've actually been trading and up and running and designing their own products and bringing them to market. And I can tell you that is no easy feat. You've probably watched me and Pete doing this now for the last couple of years and seen some of the blood, sweat and tears that go on behind the scenes to actually make this work. They've managed to build into quite a huge company. They actually have 8 global distributors to cover the globe, and that's a big undertaking, I can tell you now. That's not easily done, and it kind of gives you a glimpse at how hard they work to make sure that their products are incredible and loved by everybody worldwide. So the brand that we are talking about, and I'm going to bring in some of their products for you so you can start to see them. This might be a brand new brand to you, it might be one you've seen before, might be one you've already got bits of. If it is one you've got bits of, then tell us in the comments what you too love about them. But now you're going to be able to access them really easily because of Creative Expressions and our stockists are going to have them available for you. We are talking about Scrap Boys. Now, as I said, Scrap Boys is based in Poland. It's been going 6.5 years and they bring us the most incredible papers. And as you can see by the set that I've laid out on the screen for you, they come in 12x12, 8x8 and 6x6. Now, you might already, and I'm going to jump in quickly because you might be here thinking, oh, a new brand, I'm a card maker, I don't know if I like scrapbooking. Don't jump ship. Scrap Boys are not just here for scrapbooking. I know the name might make you think scrapbooking, but these papers, I have done 40 projects and about 35 of them are probably card making. And it's using all of the different sizes of pages. To me, when we look to the 12x12s, we can cut them down into 6x6s, we can do our A5s, we can do our A6s, exactly the same runs through the other sizes as well. They're just beautifully pretty, delicate papers, and we've got several collections for you. We've got the Sweet Peonies that we're looking at on the front here. We've got Lavender Love, and I'm going to take you through all of these throughout this evening, and we'll do some demos with them as well. We've got Flowers Melody, which is this beautiful. This one's gorgeous. I love all of them. And then the Old Marina. This has won my heart. I absolutely adore this set. This, I'm going to be biased this evening, probably, potentially, maybe, and probably when it gets to the shows as well, because I just love this. I want to climb into these pads and live there forever. It's such a beautiful world that Scrap Boys have created. And one of the bits I love with them, or actually I say one of the bits, there's several bits. First of all, let's get this out of the way. The quality of the paper. I say paper, it's 250 GSM each sheet. That's thicker than some of the foundations card we bring you. So when it goes actually down to pages and what we can do with them, they're thick. They are a nice weight to be working with. So actually this evening we're going to be talking to you about doing some folding with these, doing some different techniques with them. They're going to stand up to that for you. So thickness is one of the things I love. Incredible design. You can see that straight away on here already. Value for money comes into this as well. The 6x6 ones, to give you an idea, are $7.99. The 8x8s are $9.99 and the 12x12s are $14.99. But the amount you get for that money, so $7.99 recommended retail for a 6x6, you get 24 sheets in here. They're all, of course, acid and lignin free, so if you do want to take them into scrapbooking, journaling, and any of that kind of longevity kind of crafts, you can. Anything that you want to be archival, that's going to tick that box for you. Then on top of that, one of the other bits I love is value, and I mentioned value for money, but to clarify that even further, the cover. So this is your front cover. Now, of course, we're used to saying to you, you can cut pieces out of them and you can use them in that format. But how about if I show you the inside of the cover? I show you all of this imagery that is there for you to cut out and use throughout your creations, all perfectly matching colours, styles and quality to all of the images that are coming up in the papers. To me, this is where they've really thought things through. And what I love as well is on the front, you've got one version of this. When we go right the way through to the back page, and we'll look through these pads, I promise, in a bit more detail. But when we go through to the back page here, because if they can, or where they can, not only have they printed the images going on this side, they've also printed them on the reverse. And they match up perfectly. So for card makers, if you would like to have that ship in an aperture on the front of your card, and then when they open the card, you've got the printed ship on the inside of it, you can do that. This is a poor example, and I'll show you better ones as we go through them. But if we look to this lighthouse, maybe we want the lighthouse with the little bit to the left of it, or actually that doesn't fit the composition we're working on, or don't fit. We'll cut it out from this side or use it this side instead, and then suddenly that little house beside it is on the right. And it just gives you those options. Those butterflies, 3D butterflies, we're going to be able to do those and not worry that underneath the wings are we going to see a different colour. And every part is chocked full of these little details. Every area they possibly can throughout all of the pads has details like this within them. Then another thing I love, so often we see tags printed in booklets, don't we? And then you turn over that tag and there's a manky reverse to it. A side that you've got to try and find something to fit over it, something to match up, something that's going to coordinate. They've thought of that. Not all the way through, but where possible, they have put the same reverse designs on the back of the tags. Well, not same designs, that's silly. But I mean, they've carried the design around and then given you an area to write on that tag. So if you want to use this for journaling, if you want to use it for a little happy birthday tag, if you want to use it for a gift bag, that tag is ready to go. Cut it out, pierce the top, your tag is ready. You'll even notice that with these little base pieces as well. So on the front, we've got these beautiful pictures, like matchbox style pictures. Do you know like the old cigarette cards you used to get? They remind me of those. And on the reverse of them, you've got a different version if you wish to use it as that. Or maybe you want to do some secret journaling and you want to put these into little pockets on your albums or in your journals and add your text on there. So nobody's really going to see it, but if they take it out, it matches perfectly. Have we got a lot of love in the comments for this?
We have.
I had a feeling we would have. Now, I'm going to be truthful with you, and I do mean this wholeheartedly, and I don't like doing this, and I try not to do this because it isn't overly fair. And I know I would sit there and go, well, you should have bought more stock then, because of, let's be honest about it, why didn't you? And I know that you're going to ask that. Whenever we start off with a new brand, we don't know how popular it's going to be. We don't know if it's our own brand. We have this all the time with our own brand. We might absolutely adore it. Doesn't mean that the rest of the world is going to. So we have to start off relatively tentatively. Now, as I said at the very beginning of tonight's live, it's today that we've been able to tell our stockists that this is available. And already they're coming in and ordering it in quite vast quantities. So I know that we haven't potentially got enough stock to last the shows and to fulfill all of our stockists' orders on some lines pretty much already, let alone by the time we get through this week and maybe next week. So there's no pressure, there's never any pressure. The stock for the TV is allocated, it's ready to go. But all I'm telling you is when it gets to the shows for the TV or when you see a stockist announce that they've got it, if you fall in love with something, don't necessarily think, oh, well, it's a new brand, they're going to have lorry loads of the stuff, it's going to be here forever. I have a feeling this will go quite quickly. I can tell you that future collections are already on order and we will be launching future collections with Scrap Boys, of course. This is what being a distributor is about. It's not about just today, just one collection or one delivery. We've already lined up our future deliveries and we're very excited to be welcoming them in the coming months. But the collections you're looking at today, pretty much when they're gone, they're gone. A lot of scrapbooking companies do this. They don't replenish. They don't constantly reorder. They'll do a collection, they'll do a release, and then once that print run's done, because it's very costly to do print runs, you're talking high minimum orders, high shipping amounts, they don't always tend to replenish them. So just in honesty with you, you might find that some of these will dwindle quite quickly. So, should we actually break these down and look through them? Now, I'm going to talk to you mostly about these 4 collections, but there is more to our Scrap Boys journey, and I will try and give you a bit more of a flick through these later. But your stockists may well appear with a few other lines as well, a few other collections, and I'm sure you're going to see these feature on some shows coming up as well. But I'm going to talk to you mostly about the 4 collections that I laid out on the desk for you, because these are the ones that are coming up on Hobby Maker. But before I let you go, we will try and flick through those as well. So let's start off then with our old Marina one. And we'll actually go through one of the pads in full detail. And I want to highlight this for you as well. And Pete, please don't be shy if there's any questions, jump on in. But I want to highlight why it's beneficial as a card maker, as a scrapbooker, to actually collect all 3. And I'm going to dig into this. Sorry, I should have thought of this. And I should have opened this before we went to air, because there's nothing worse than listening to rustling of packaging, is there? But one of the bits I absolutely adore by bringing you 3 sizes of a paper, or of anything really, is that we have all of those same images but in the different size panels. So if we look to here, can you see those okay? We have this beautiful navy lady in all of the different sizes running through the different pads. Not only do we have that for her on this area, we also have it through some of the layering elements. Now again, they haven't just been lazy and gone, would you know what, we're going to blow these up really big because we can, and we're going to end up on the 12 by 12 pad with this huge cameo or huge typewriter. Instead, when we go to the 12 by 12, they said, actually, we're going to put in even more work and effort. We're going to fit in even more items. So you're going to see different imagery fit into this cutout sheet than you're potentially going to see through the smaller ones. But when it comes onto the actual pages, and I'm going to show you this possibly with a different design, let's have a little flick. Let's see if there's a better one that I can show you this with. Let's see if we, oh, this one might be good. So this is what I love about having different size pages. If we go through our little booklet, and I will show you all of these, I promise. But if we go here and here, and then if we flick down to the 6x6, this to me gives luxury, whether we're card making, scrapbooking, home decor, and whatever it may be, that you can layer your pages in the sizes from the different packs and have that text or that picture shrink down between them. So your layers, your mats and layers can look really elegant just by using the same papers and breaking that up, but having the font or the style or the picture broken down for you. Again, you can start to see here how our windows are going to be in different sizes as we run through the pads. So everything is there for you in all of your different sizes. So shall we do the 12 by 12 one to begin with, because this is going to be a nice easy one for me to flick through and for you to see both sides. So we have of course got that beautiful blue kind of cloudy sky text. On the other side we have these 2 beautiful images with this beautiful vintage text running through the background of it. Onto our next page, we have got the map. I love a map. I'm always here for a map. You'll also notice across the bottom here on the 12 by 12s, and you've got different languages. Don't forget these are based in Poland, so you're going to get a little bit of different variations of language going on. But again, they've tried to keep it fair and equal, so there's English words breaking them up as well. But it just gives you better value for money. Again, this is what I mean about value for money. This bar has to exist. It tells you all about the company. It tells you your product codes. It tells you your barcode if you're buying single sheets. But instead of just leaving that back bar plain, they've given you that ability to trim that up and use that. So every single particle of these has been thought through to give you the best value for money that you can possibly have. And then design wise, isn't it lovely to see that straight out of the bat, with nothing too complicated, you've got the perfect double page spread, all coordinating through just out of those 2 pages alone. Then we move on to our windows. We've got our windows, we've got our beautiful tags, we've got our little circles here, like little portholes, if you will, with imagery running through them. On the reverse of that page, we've got these lovely big crashing waves, which of course really tell the scene. To our next page, we move on, and on one side we've got this really cool distressed pinstripe, and on the other page we have got this beautiful flower, again with the same text and fonts running through in the background, little postmarks appearing, tying those images together throughout the collection. And then when we move on to the following page, and I'm going to keep you with the flower side so you can see what I mean, when we go back to these kind of little postcards, you're going to see the same flowers coming through. So when we come to layering, matting and layering, doing all of our different folds, all of our different techniques, everything's coordinating throughout for us. On the reverse of this one, we've got a nice kind of just damask pattern as such, a nice pretty background, reminds me of wallpaper, but it's the great perfect backing to go behind those postcards, or of course if you don't wish to be using those, then you can use that as a sheet that's going to coordinate. And again, when we go back to those florals, look how nicely these two match together. Isn't that just elegant, seeing those two lay together? Then we move on, and onto this one. What have we got here? This is our last set of sheets in the 12 by 12. On one side we've got the nice big pictures, so I'm going to bring that over so you can see those. We've got our lady, we've got our gentleman, we've got a very dramatic ship there. Then we've got lots of tags, and then these beautiful little tabs running across the top. Of course, on the reverse, those tabs, those are left plain for you to write your dates, do your journaling on. Those tags, once again, as you can see, are left pretty plain, so you can add your dates and your journaling onto them. And those nice big pictures at the bottom, you've guessed it, are once again left relatively plain for you to be able to stamp onto, journal onto, add any details onto that you wish. The numbers that run across the bottom, again, they think of everything. On one side, we've got light and dark. On the other side, we've kind of got the mid shades. So whatever colour you wish to go to, whether you wish to yo-yo through them or just stick to one or the other, gives you the option so that you're not actually just pigeoned into one option. They've thought of everything, and that's why I love them. They've thought of everything you can imagine all the way throughout. So that's a little glimpse at the 12 by 12. And we'll turn this over just so I can remember. In that one, you're going to receive 12 sheets. When we go on to the 8 by 8, you're going to receive 12 sheets. And when we look to the 6 by 6, you're going to receive 24 sheets. So lots and lots going through these. Just as a quick flick, I'm never very good at this, but we will just do a quick flick through them so you can see all of the same designs running through that pad in the 8 by 8 version for you. And then the 6 by 6, exactly the same again. But of course in the 6 by 6 format. Now you look how elegant those flowers and waves look. Doesn't that look so pretty? I love these pads. I love them all, but I particularly do love this one. Now as we're here, I'm going to show you the inspiration for it because I want to get onto some demos, but I want to show you some ideas. So here's one idea that I've done. Now on the shows, actually, before we go too far, on the shows on Saturday, we're going to be bringing back my canvas dies. Now this is the very first time my canvas dies have been on air since they launched about 4 years ago. When they launched the original sizes, the smaller ones of the set, they sold out on air in 11 minutes. And we never returned them to air. These are ones I designed back when I was with Creative Expressions. And I said to Pete, these are the perfect thing to go alongside the Scrap Boys papers because they take the papers and they give them dimension. They give them a whole new lease of life. They give you frames to put them in. They give you all of the different ways to build them up. They give you all of the patterns you need to make. And these, I think, you're going to fall in love with. If you've never seen my canvas dies before, you're in for a treat. You're going to see them on lots of examples now. We're going to be using them on our demos as well this evening. So I'll show you how they build, what they create. But in short, every single one of them cuts and scores the lines you need to build these up into the perfect little boxes. In the middles of them, you'll find nesting dies. They go in and they cut out the middles of those canvases as such to create frames with instead, if that's what you'd like to do with them. Or it gives you the perfect sizes to layer on top of those canvases and create completely different effects. In the small, there are 7 shapes. There is the square one, there is the rectangle, there is the hexagon, there is the panel, there is the triangle, the diamond, and lastly the octagon. Now again, I'm going to do this, and I hate it when people do this, but I'm going to tell you the truth, because the truth is always the best bet. You know, we went to Frankfurt just about 2 weeks ago. When we come home, I told you that the first order had already left the factory and it was en route. It's been that quick for us to turn around from talking to scrap boys to be able to be bringing it to you. That quickly, honestly. To give you a bit of scope, on Monday we returned to work. I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to make the 40 projects I'm going to share with you this evening. So when we talk about speed of making these projects, you'll see it. I haven't gone to town. I haven't done any distressing around the edges. I haven't even put photos on the journals and on the pages or anything like that. I've kept them plain, and we'll talk more about that when we look at them. There is also a bit of a reason. But it didn't mean that we had got time to order more stock of our canvases. Truthfully, we can't get them here in that amount of time. It just isn't physically possible. So to order a die is approximately 6 weeks. We're talking 2 weeks from talking to scrap boys and bringing them to air for you. So although I said to Pete, these are the perfect thing to put on the show, and they are the perfect thing, and I think you're going to fall in love with these, I honestly, and I don't know, and I might be wrong, and I might look a complete idiot, I have a feeling these will end up on extended dispatch if Pete agrees to do that with Hobby Maker very quickly, because I know that we haven't got a huge stock of these, especially the 7, the smaller sizes. So again, if you fall in love with them, don't dilly-dally. The larger ones that we're going to look at next, there's a little bit more stock of these, so that you might find that they'll linger a little bit longer. But again, don't hurry. We will get them back. We always get things back, so you don't have to panic buy. But if you fall in love like we do and you want it there and then, this is why we're honest with you. It's not intended to make you panic. It's not intended to make you rush to buy it. It's just to be honest with you. So in these, there are 5 shapes. We only did 5 in the larger for some reason, but we did 5 with these. That was at the time, it wasn't in my control. So I was only allowed to do you the 5. So at the stage we did 5. We've got the square. We've got the same panel, the large panel. We've got the rectangle panel. We've got the large hexagon, and we've got the large octagon. And with these ones, because we've got room in the middle, and I didn't want to double up, I knew that you'd potentially already purchased these ones, because these are the ones that sold out on air in 11 minutes. So I didn't want to give you the same sizes twice in the inserts. So when we got to the stage that we'd start to double up, I gave you words instead in a really fun font. So you've got cherish, you've got dream, you've got memories, thinking of scrapbooking, thinking of journaling. You've got family, and you've got the word love. So throughout these, you're going to receive that extra sentiment on the inside as well. And as I say, the large ones only are available in 5 different shapes. The smaller ones come in 7. That was when I was allowed to. We did the diamond and we did the triangle. I'll show you some inspiration with all of these so you can see why you might need them as we look through these cards on different projects. So this one, you can now see possibly and understand where this rectangle panels come from, this frame, because I've used my canvas die, I've used the insert to cut it out, and then I've built up around it with all of the different pieces that I've cut out from the pads. Now the cutouts, just to highlight another little thing that I love, and I'm going to bring this up so you can see it. Around the cutout elements, you will find a black line. I've had my parents in today cutting kits for me for this evening and for the shows this week. They agree with me. That black line is a game changer, because it just gives you the perfect spacing between the outside and the insert piece to cut against. If you don't want to have a white frame running around them, you absolutely don't have to. But that white frame is something I quite like, and in a lot of cases I've chose to use it. I haven't in all cases, but it's a nice buffer line for you to be able to use if you would like to. You of course can cut into some of the other elements as well. This isn't one of those pages. That comes from one of these. That is literally taking the gentleman's little card here and cutting across the top of it and then using that over the top of this, and that's from the 8x8 pad. And again, this is why having the different sizes can come in really handy, because I could have cut some elements out from this one and laid it on the top of that one. Another one to give you an idea, using the large canvas, bringing in the typewriter cutout, the little ship in the bottle, the little hot air balloon, and then one of the little tabs. Now I have a scan and cut, but I can't find my cutting plate or my mat to go with it. I cannot find it for all the tea in China. So I don't know if they're going to work very well with a scan and cut. So if you're watching and you've had these before and you've used them on a scan and cut, and that black line's worked with that to cut them out for you, please do let me know in the comments. I'd really like to know. I have searched for that mat. Do you think I can find it? I can't find it. No, I can find the machine. I can find the plug. That's usually the bit I lose with most things, is the plug, but I found the plug. But do you think I can find that mat? I can't. Okay, so on this one, we've gone for the same image, and this is something that's lovely with the canvases. I've used 2 of these because we got 2 of them, so I've used 2 of them. I've used one for the base panel, and then I've cut one out, and I've framed it, and I've built it, and I've then layered it onto the same matching panel. So the design continues around on that backing panel to match in with the canvas that I've built up on top. Now, of course, you don't have to use the canvases with these papers. They might not be your cup of tea, but they are certainly good fun to play with if it's a look that you like. Now, there's something else we can do with these. And I'll show you this one first of all. Wait there, let me dig this out. These canvases, not only do they make great frames, not only do they make great canvases, they also make great pockets. Once you've got them cut out, if you then wish to cut across them and build them and turn them into a little pocket, they work as the perfect pocket to hold your tags. Now, these, of course, are the tags from in the booklet. I've just trimmed them out, added some ribbon through the top of them, and I've got perfect little double-sided tags to go into my pocket from all of the same imagery. And that might give you an idea for your albums, or once again your journals, or of course your cards. And I've matched up where I've cut my pocket from, again on the same paper, so that I can then stick that pocket back in place, and my book runs across the pocket and onto the background as well. And then I've added in the little word adventure from the bottom, and then the number 54. The cardstock you see going throughout these cards as well, the colours of cardstock, will also be available for you on Hobby Maker. I've kind of picked one colour card from our foundations range to coordinate with each themed pack, if you will. And you don't have to stick to those, but that's what I've pretty much done predominantly. Now with this one, I wanted to do something different. So I made a little accordion tag set. You'll see more of these coming up shortly in a bigger format. But this again fits perfectly into that little pocket on the front of that card. So maybe you want to write something in there, maybe you want to make a little love letter to go in there, maybe you want to add in some little gifts, maybe you want to add in some little photos, but that's going to work for you. Going on to a slightly bigger one and bringing in those beautiful windows, kind of inspired by Sue's recent window collection. This time I've cut my canvas and then I've added some imagery around it, and I've used up lots of my scraps from my papers to make the layers go behind that one. Then moving on, we'll have a little look at this one. So this one, of course, is the triangle from the smaller canvases being used on a gatefold. And again, you're going to see lots of pieces of paper coming through on this, whether it's for the insert panels or of course those outside places. How are they going, Pete? Have they fallen in love with these as much as I have?
Yes, yeah, lots of comments. Sorry, there's I'm going to go back to, where were we? Alison asked earlier also if they do stamps and dies, etc.
They do not, no.
But they do some ephemera, don't they? Which,
they do some ephemera. I can never say that word. Go again, Pete.
Ephemera.
Ephemera.
Which we should add soon.
There may well be those coming in the future. Now look into this one. Have a little look at this. This is a little fold I've created. It's not exactly complicated, but I sat there and I thought, what could I create if I cut the paper in half? So I cut the paper 8 by 8 in half. I then layered it up, and I sat there with these 2 panels, and I was like, what am I going to do with them? And I thought, well, actually, I'm going to put a little cheeky fold in between them, a little W fold. And you can stand that perfectly. It doesn't go right the way to the bottom. There is a gap between the bottom, but because it isn't too long, it's quite structurally sound. So you could turn this into a card if you wanted it to be a card, or it could be a little brag book, it could be a journal, it could be whatever you wanted it to be. So, and this is why I say, if you're a card maker, don't see the name Scrap Boys and think that's not for me, because there are so many ways that we can make fun folds and patterns and booklets and pieces with them. It doesn't have to be about scrapbooking, but of course it can be if you would like it to be. So again, on the front here, we've got our little canvas added on with one of the matching insert dies to create the little tab to go on the top there. And then my last project from this collection, and then we'll move on to the next one. Now this is a little booklet. Now this is one of the Crafts 2 books. We don't bring you these yet, but these are Crafts 2 books. So they come ready done, and it's just something I'd got in my stash and wanted to play with, and I've been chomping at the bit to play with this. And when I see this canvas fitted so nicely on the front panel, this of course is the large panel, so it's this one here that I've used to create that canvas on the front with our lovely sailor. Captain, I suppose is what I should call him actually. Captain, can't downgrade him to just a sailor. And then when we open this up, you're going to find the papers I've mounted and added throughout every single available space. Now, whether it's through the main pages or down the spines of the book, they have been added throughout. Now, I haven't added photos, I haven't added tabs, I haven't added all of those magical pieces that you're going to add into this to turn it into a brag book or a photo album or a journal or whatever you may wish to call it. I've left them out because it's a bit like when you sell a house. Whenever you sell a house, they say to you, you should remove all of your family photos, don't they? And you should bake some bread because if you want people to see it in the format that they can move into it and they can make it their very own. And I kind of work on that theory with scrapbooking. I don't want you caught up in my photos and my memories too much because they're a bit random most of the time. I want you to see how you could take this book, or you could take the pages I'm going to share with you soon, and you could put your adventures in here. You could put your memories in here. So it's just a nice way to leave it blank and empty for you to see what you could be creating with it. So there's many different albums on the market, many different journal sets, many different creations that you can make or add to, but it was just a quick way to show you how you could add to this. Now don't forget, everything I share with you, all 40 projects I share with you, I made these in 3 days. So nothing was overly long-winded, nothing was overly complicated, because I simply didn't have the time to do it. So if you want to distress the edges, if you want to stamp on them, if you want to add more to them, these are uncoated pages. You can absolutely do that if that's what you would like to do. Now, while I dig out the next collection, Pete, is there any questions that you need me to answer?
Kim's asking if, no, not Kim, sorry, Kim replied. Leslie, lovely Leslie Wall was asking if there was a Christmas one, and Kim's already on it. Kim guessed that it was Scrap Boys before you announced.
Did she?
She did.
I love Scrap Boys. You might have picked up some previous confessions of love for this brand. It is one of my very all-time favourites when it comes to papers.
But yeah, so Leslie was asking about the Christmas pad, and if they do one. Which Kim said it's called Happy Christmas. Ta-da! As if by magic. As if by magic.
As if by magic. So yes, currently it's only available in 6x6 and 8x8. I don't believe they will repeat the 12x12. If they do, we will order it. But currently we have the 6x6 and 8x8 available. And you can see, isn't this beautiful? So this isn't one that's going to be on air this week on Hobby Maker, but I have a feeling if we still have stock available later in the year, then we will take it to air around June, July time. We don't have huge stocks of this one, so this might be a case of picking on a stockist. Pick on a stockist and tell them that this is something you would like to see them stock, and I'm sure they will be able to order it for you. Even if they just order the 1 or 2 that you're requesting. I say 2 because I know what you're like. You're going to want one to use and one to stroke, one to save, one to keep in a cupboard. We all do it. We're all guilty of it. And these are just too good to not have us back up, aren't they? Too good to not have one to side for when we need it. So just like the other pads, they all run on a similar theme. You're going to receive that same imagery, increased in size, for the different size pads as such, if we start with the 6x6 and work up through them. But that is your Happy Holidays pad. Once again, not on Hobby Maker this week, but will be available. And I'll show you the other ones a little later on if there's no other questions. Any other questions, Pete, before we move on to Sweet Peonies?
Yeah, Ali did ask, Ali Karubia, I hope I said that correctly. How are we doing?
Hello, Ali.
Asking me if there's an 8x8 for the Elizabeth Scrap Boys pad.
There isn't at the moment, is there? That's another one that is currently sold out with Scrap Boys, I'm afraid. So there is just the 6x6 and the 12x12, but we do have those available. Any other questions?
No, Sharon's just Sharon Hall just asking.
Hello, Sharon.
It shows Hobby Maker shows Sunday at 1 and 5, and not on Saturday. Is that correct?
Correct. Sunday, 1 p.m, 5 p.m. Have I said Saturday at some stage?
I'm not sure. I didn't
pick
pick
it's
up.
Possibly highly likely, Sharon. If I did, I'm sorry. But it is Sunday, 1 and 5.
Alison says, don't forget one to smell.
I haven't actually.
Smell. I love the smell of a painted pad.
I don't think these are giving much smell.
It's not
actually,
sharing.
I'm not
It's
gonna.
not sharing.
I won't tell you that you're gonna want to be sniffing these. They're not offensive, but I didn't pick up a scent. Maybe it's me, Pete. I'm gonna pass you one in a minute to sniff.
Do you not love the smell of a nice pad?
Well, look, you're not getting. I didn't pick up a smell. I've just thrown him a pad. So as we're flicking through this one, you can see again beautiful imagery. Now, many of you have watched me waffle for many, many moons. I know. You're going to know I love a place with a castle that may have a little mouse running around outside it. To me, this is giving me vibes of that place. I feel that's very beautiful. A lot of the artwork through this one reminds me a little bit of Thomas Kincaid in a sense. It's very nice and bright. I suppose that's possibly wrong, but I don't know, it just reminds me of that. I think it's that whimsical nature, that bright, fresh look. But they are beautiful as you run through them. And again, you've got all of those flowers coming in around each of the elements. I could see this pad working very nicely for weddings in particular, as well as many different occasions. I could see lots of fairy tale stories being told of these. They're just beautifully pretty. And once again, just like the others, you're going to find all of the same imagery running through and all of the same backgrounds running through all of the sizes of pads. And just like before, when we get to the 12 by 12, on the reverse of the cover, we've got all of those images. And when we run through the 12 by 12 pages, again, beautiful, beautiful effects. Now, I resisted temptation to mix and match throughout mine. I kept my examples very much to one collection because I didn't want to try and convince you that you needed all of them. I'm going to let you do that yourself because I think you're going to look at these. If you're new to them, if you don't already have a stash of these, and you're going to know you're going to want every single one of them. But I didn't want to make you feel you had to. So I've stuck to one collection for my examples to kind of keep it clean and crisp. And on the shows on Sunday, we've got 2 hours, 4 collections, so I'll probably divide it down to ½ hour per collection. And I felt that would be the easiest way for you to kind of see what we're working with and how we're doing it and keep up with all of the different patterns and designs that I'm using. So in this one, very simple, nothing complicated, just taking that canvas, using the big image, cutting it out and layering it onto the front of the card. If you're somebody who isn't a fan of the canvases, you don't have to. You could have done that as a flat image if you prefer. Again, you'll see our one colour of foundations coming through in these examples. This is the ceramic blue that I've featured for this one. Again, it will be available on the Hobby Maker shows this Sunday. I'm worried I've said Saturday about 19 times. I probably have. It probably is me that's confusing the life out of you all. Once again, large canvas on here, just cutting out one of those pictures and adding it on. A little bit of cutting out going around here for the corners, matching in with some of the elements that are on the pages. Again, one of the backgrounds coming in, and of course just little vellum wraps and a little vellum addition over the sentiment in the corner there as well. One here with the diamond on a little opening fold card. I always forget, Z-fold? Z-fold, we're going to call it a Z-fold, with one of the larger images on the insert and then one of those cutouts being layered onto the panel on the inside. One here showing you how you can just make a triple panel card using the canvases and then really taking advantage of them beautiful images. One here where I've used 2 different sizes of the large canvases and then cut out and layered up on top of them using the papers running through behind them. Another one here with one of the smaller canvases and bringing in the word dream to add onto the top of it with the typewriter cut out below it. The triangle is one of my favourites. I love the little triangle die set because that is such a fun canvas to make up shapes and patterns with. You might remember the one that was on the last collection, the old Mariner collection, and how different that looked being put together back into kind of a square. This time seeing them come together as 4 running down that side looks completely different, doesn't it? But it gives you a glimpse at some of the patterns you could be making up with these. Then I'm going to move these out of the way for the second because the next example is a little bit bigger. So we're going to go on this time to a jolly great big MDF tag. I love a bit of MDF, and this of course is our Jamie Rodgers Crafts MDF. So on the front here I have layered on some paper. I've put on my little hexagon and left plain so I could add a photo to it, and of course tie in there with our lovely camera that's below it. Then we open this up, and a bit like that one that I showed you earlier that we'd done on small format, This is the big format. So this one's the one to really go to town with and add in all of your big photos, all of your journaling, all of your pieces. Now, of course, this is a harmonica fold. So again, it kind of opens out in a bit of a zigzag, but it can lay flat if that's what you'd like to do with it. And it could, of course, be built in different formats. So it actually flicks through as pages. But on every single one of them, I've brought in beautiful papers found throughout the 8x8 and the 12x12s and layered them onto each section. And of course, I didn't just stop on one side, I did the reverse as well. So everything all coordinates and is all ready for you to add into it. Now, I know that our DT, if they had had chance to get their hands on these, there'd be pockets and there would be extra pieces and there would be depth and there would be all different bits and bobs. And you can absolutely do that and achieve that if that's what you would like to do. Now, when I did this one, I started off with a piece of A3 card and I scored it and made it. And I actually joined two pieces of A3 together, but kept them to the length that fitted within the tags. So it created that first part. What I was left with when I cut off the base of the 8x8 was this little bit. And I was like, I can't waste that. I can't part with this. So instead, I took those same pieces, those same pages, those same cut-offs, added a little belly band around them, and then turned this into a little flip booklet running in the opposite direction. So this time, all of the pieces, all of the offcuts that come out of them pages, a few extras as well, but it then turns it into another little brag book, another little journal, another little folded pack that you can add to and create onto if that's what you would like to do with them. Or really from what was the waste from that tag album, just to give you a slightly different idea. On the belly band, I've once again added in one of those little octagons to go onto there, and of course that coordinates with this one, so you might even want to give them both as a little gift together, or a little booklet or a little collection together to the same recipient. Now, any questions once we've looked through that one, Peter?
No, just loving all the stunning samples and...
Oh, thank you. I kind of feel bad
pods.
because normally we do like 100 samples for a release or a collection, and we get all of our DT involved, as you all know by now, and we share all of these incredible things with you. And this time we just simply didn't have time. We just did not have time. As I say, back on Monday. By this Monday, we're live with the collections. By this weekend, we're on air with them. So it just wasn't time to be able to hand this all out and get it posted up and down the country. So it's been a bit quick to be able to do this, and I have cut a lot of corners, but I'm hoping that it kind of gives you some inspiration on what you could do, because I think you can have so much fun with these, regardless of what inspiration we bring you. And speaking of inspiration, and this is one of the nice bits about when we talk about distributing a brand for you, not only do you have our ideas, not only do you have our shows, not only do you have our galleries on the website, not only do you have our samples out there for you to look at your stockists, you're also going to have all of the Scrap Boys back up as well. Scrap Boys have an amazing team. They do lots of lives, they do lots of different shares. They of course have their own social media as well. You're going to find that marked out on every single piece of that they do. Every item, every packaging tells you how to follow them. Do follow them, do keep up with them, because they do incredible examples. I'm talking, if mine are 1, theirs are a 10. If we go to kind of dancing on ice style scoring, definitely a 1 for me, definitely a 10 for them. So do follow them, do check them out, because you will be bowled over by what they create. They're on a different level. I can say that I created them, I'm honest. But it's nice for you to see different inspiration from different people. So next up, let's look at Lavender Love. So Lavender Love, very similar idea to the previous ones. So I'm going to make this a little bit quicker because you've probably got the concept now. You've got beautiful papers running through here, beautiful tags, stunning backgrounds, all with that lovely lilac feel to them. These to me, if you look for card fronts, you know, so many times over the years people have said to me, oh, I don't use scrapbook papers for cards. I never really understand why, because they are the most beautifully detailed papers, and you can cut them to whatever you may want them to be. That would make the perfect front on an A6 card, and the heavy lifting has been done for us. Equally, you could go to that side and use that side as your A6, and it is just stunning. Or if not, flip them over and use the reverse. These beautiful patterns are going to come in time after time. And then when we look to all of these elements, all of these pieces that we can cut out and use on our cards, to me, a pad like this is worth its weight in gold, truly. Now, of course, just like before, we have that for you in the 6x6. We have that for you in the 8x8. And of course, lastly, we have it for you in the 12 by 12. And another thing that's worth mentioning when we talk of the 12 by 12s is if you're somebody who likes to make boxes to coordinate with their cards, this is the perfect time to bring out the 12 by 12s and use the imagery and papers that run throughout those packs to actually work with your kind of boxes to coordinate with what you might have actually used in the smaller packs as well. So to give you some inspiration from the Lavender Love collection, we've mentioned scrapbooking, but I've not really shown you any pages yet, have I? So let's show you one of the pages I've created. Very, very simple, nothing complicated, mats and layers running throughout, 3 canvases, some from the small, some from the large collection, being added on here, and again being left plain so you can imagine your own stories being told within them. Another one, similar idea here, another page for you, this time using the small and the large from the squares, keeping it again very, very simple, nothing complicated, adding in a couple of those tabs for some journaling. Of course, don't forget, you might even wish to cut off one of the sides here to these and actually keep your journaling tabs on the inside there, a bit like we did with the pockets for the tags earlier. Then of course we go back to some card making with this one. So this one's a nice simple one, just an easel card. On the front we've got the large octagon, and then when we open that out, I say octagon, hexagon too. Oh, is it hexagon? I never know the difference between them. You know how some people struggle with their left and their rights? I struggle with octagons and hexagons. I really have to think about it. I have to count them. It's the only fail-safe way for me to know what I'm on about. But this one again, going for that kind of wedding vibe, maybe engagement idea, lots of elements running through that pad to do that with. Then if we move on to the next one, I've got lots to share with you from this one. You know I love a multi-fold card, so this is one of my famous ones that I like to do. I say famous, that sounds big-headed. Famous as in I enjoy doing them and do lots of them. It's just a little zigzag fold coming out here, a few little steps, and then onto the steps I've added pages. On the front one we've got the large square canvas, some flowers and some rings, and one of the little pictures cut out to layer onto it. When we move into the next page, we've actually cut the middle out of the frame that they've given you within the packs, and I've added in another one of the frames that they've given you with the church image on the insert of it. And then the last page I've left relatively plain for you to be able to journal or add on to photos, pictures, thank yous, or of course messages. Then we move on to this little card. Now this is a lovely small card, and on the front of this one I've used one of the canvases. I've used the cutout in the middle. I've used the neck size down in the cutouts to create a little insert to go under it, and then I've trimmed out the church, rounded it out, foam padded it into the middle of that frame. So there's proper dimension going on here, proper lift. And that's one of the lovely bits about these kind of canvases and frames, is giving you that area to build up within. Here's another example of that with the diamond, but this time with the butterfly being added onto the inside of it. And then of course, as you can see, lots of the papers coming through from within it. Now this one was a different idea. You know, you often get to the point where I've made my sort of 9 projects at this stage, and I've got lots of offcuts, I've got lots of pieces coming laying around my desk, and I'm like, what can I do with these? I don't want to waste them. So I took a self-adhesive sheet and I literally stuck all of the pieces of my card and my paper onto it, and then I cut them out, and it's probably easier to see here, cut them out to make my card. So I've layered them onto another piece of our lovely purple Emperor cardstock. This is one of the ones that will be on the shows on Sunday, but I've layered them all up, and it's kind of made a bit of a patchwork effect. I was thinking Dolly Parton's Coat of Many Colours when I was doing it, because it gives you that kind of idea of patching all of the pieces back together and making something lovable and good from them. And I kind of wish I'd turned this into another easel card, but you didn't want to see too many easels, so this time I've gone for a Z fold with that lovely overhanging panel instead. Of course, once again, bringing in the church with the canvas on the front there. Then we move on to the next one. So this one again, very, very simple. Just going for an 8x8 card, adding the canvas on, cutting out the lovely little icon of the little girl holding on to the lavender, softening the panel behind it with some vellum, tucking that little camera in, adding on the butterfly, adding on the flowers, and matching up the papers once again. You're going to notice that the same imagery is running through both papers because it's the same paper. This is the larger one, and I've cut off the purple wood grain side from it, but it means that we've got the same imagery tucked in around the corners as the one beneath. Then we move on to the next card. This one again, we're going for a Z fold idea. We've got some beautiful flowers running through it. On the front, we've got that large panel, and then off to the side, I've taken one of the framed elements and cut that out. I've built up the flowers and the little birdhouse around it. Now, maybe this is a wedding, an engagement. It could be any kind of celebration along them, like those lines, or even a happy birthday, Mother's Day, whatever it is that you want it to be. And then the last one for this collection, this time I've taken that lovely rectangular panel, but instead of just sticking to the large and the smaller separates, I've put them one on top of the other, because the canvases are designed in the way that you can do that and you'll have equal measurements running throughout them. So if you're not afraid of going a bit high and deep within your creations, maybe once again we're doing boxes and you want that to be a really fancy tiered up top to the box, maybe it's something in home decor, you can of course create that real true depth and dimension throughout the collection. That gives you a glimpse at the 10 creations I made with the Lavender Love collection. So I'm going to pop all those back into my box and we will move on to the next collection before we do some demos. Peter, any questions while I tidy that one away?
No, just lots of love. Kim loved the church and the canvas.
I'm going to ask you shortly which is your favourite collection. It's not your question to win the cards tonight. I've got another question for you for that. But I would like to know what is your favourite collection. So please don't be shy in letting us know in the comments, because I do always really love to see if your kind of styles and loves match up with mine. Okay, the next collection we're going to look at, and the last collection, is this one. This is the Flowers Melody collection. So same idea again. You've got the idea, I'm sure, but throughout your pads, you've got the most beautiful artwork. Truly, how Scrap Boys do this, I've got no idea. It is spectacularly beautiful. Such depth, such layer, such beauty nestled throughout every single page and every single embellishment. It really is stunning, and it just kind of covers so many topics and so many styles. And like that page alone, it looks like we've spent a lot of time blending or playing with inks, but oh no, just one page out of this pad is going to give you that effect. And you've got all of these stunning items to be working with and building up. And just like before, available in 6x6, 8x8 and 12x12. So let's show you what I've created with this one to give you an idea. So on to our 12x12 this time. I've gone for that beautiful large stopwatch, fob watch. I always call them a stopwatch, but I think they're a fob watch. I should know this. I'm going to call it a fob watch and behave, because I think that's where I should be. Around the edge of this one, I've added the canvases again in the hexagons, and I've also used the large hexagon canvases, but I've just used the panels from within them to give me the right mats and layers to go underneath them. Very, very simple, just a few cutout elements being added around the edges, and I've stuck to that lovely lake blue cardstock from Foundations, because I found that, as you can see, matches in beautifully with this pad. Then another one for you with the scrapbookers in mind. So again, very simple, very easy, just 3 panels, cut out, layered up and placed into that central panel, and then of course layers of the papers running throughout. And I was very good, I gutted my papers, so this is all created out of one 12x12. So I've got one 12x12 for my flowers and one that I've used for that lovely blue writing, and then a few additional pieces that I've cut out and added on. I don't often gut my papers, but when my papers are this beautiful, I'm going to gut them. I'm going to gut them in any time I can, unless I'm live on air, then I'll behave, I promise. But it's nice if we can gut them and use them for different projects. If you've never heard the term gutting before, it's not a nice term. I'm sorry I didn't name it that, but it's literally when you take a page and you go, well, I'm going to be covering the middle of it, so I'm going to cut that central part out and I'm going to use that for another project. It just gives us more value for money from what we're using and makes it that you can get more out of it. So this time, once again, Z fold card, lovely simple one, a little canvas there on the front with the violin I'm going to go with on the front, and then the little teacup nestled on the inside with a little butterfly added around this clock face to give you an idea of how that would look. Then we move on again, we're layering this time once again with the canvases, so small and large being built up on the front of the card, flowers cut out and shaped in the corner all over that very pretty wood grain. Then another one of those multi-fold cards that I mentioned I like doing earlier. This time I've gone for 3 platforms to add on to, so 1, 2, 3, add in the different size pages throughout, all nestling down onto the front, And then on the front of it, I've got one of our lovely diamond canvases, and I've cut out some of the imagery and added it in with the perfume bottle. And that, of course, matches in all the way throughout this creation to all of the artwork you're going to be seeing on each of the different pages. It's tricky to show you on screen, but it's when it stands and you see that little sneaky peek of each of those pages that I think is when the beauty in a project like this comes together. And when the recipient stands out on the mantelpiece, it's going to really stand out amongst some of the others. Then when we go on to our double layering again, so we've got a double layering effect going on with the square canvases this time, with just a little butterfly put in the middle of it. And this butterfly, once again, is cut out. Oh no, it isn't. I was going to tell you it was cut out from one of the double-sideds, but it isn't. But it doesn't matter, because you're not going to see the reverse of it when it's on top of that box like that. Then we've got another one here where I've taken one of the canvases, I've put it on a little vellum wrap, and I've used that over one of the background pages. Another one here where we've brought in the little triangles, and I've done a trio of triangles with a vellum wrap behind it. And then this one using some of the 12 by 12 papers, and I've cut out the lovely birdhouse to add down the side here. I've cut out some of the flowers and shaped them across the canvas, and on the canvas I've gone for the same paper as what's been used in the reverse, but this time in the 8 by 8, that time in the 12 by 12, and I've added the word cherish from the canvases onto it. Then I've saved probably my favourite card accidentally to the end, and it might not be your favourite, but I loved this one. I was so pleased with this, and you won't often hear me say that. I'm never one who's impressed with what they've created, but I absolutely loved this. I don't know why. I can't say it's the best card I've ever made in the world. It probably isn't, and it's probably wonky, but I don't know why. I just really fell in love with this. This is using the same paper, but just picking different areas of it to cut out with different canvases, and then placing the canvases back together to make this kind of stepping stone effect, if you will, over the background. It might not be your cup of tea at all, but to me that really made me happy. I liked the dimension, I liked the shadows that was created, and I liked the way that each panel focused in on different parts of the flowers and gave different parts of the patterned paper in different ways. It's just a different idea for you. I could have added more to it, but I really didn't actually want to cover up the artwork. The artwork is so yummy and delicious. To me, I wanted that to kind of shine through, and it actually hurt me to cover up any of it with the word congratulations, but I knew it kind of needed something to make it a card, so I had to give it a purpose. I had to give it a reason so that it kind of come across as a card instead of just a canvassy piece of work. But it could, of course, be framed and put up on the wall, and then you might not necessarily want it to have a word on it if you don't want to. Might have a butterfly instead or something else. But it does show you how your canvases can, of course, be pieced back together to give you a very different look, especially if you do like to frame your art and kind of create different things with it. Now, are there any questions about any of the bits that we've looked through so far, Pete? Or can we try and fit in a demo?
No, not as yet.
Okay, so I've got a question for you all. Which one wins for you? Which is your favourite? Which pad collection is your favourite? I'm going to bring back in the covers for each of all four of the different releases so you can see which one's which. And then I want you to fill the comments as quickly as you can, and we'll pick on Pete to see if he can keep up and tell us which one wins. Are you Flowers Melody, Lavender Love, Sweet Peonies, or Old Marina? Which one? Go! Fill the comments. Tell us which is your favourite. And Peter, over to you to be our independent adjudicator to tell us which one wins in the next 5 minutes. Are you ready, Peter?
Fingers on buzzers, yeah.
Fingers on buzzers. Go, go, go. I think you need to set up a tally chart, possibly, for them to be able to tell us which ones they like the most. But we'll give him a moment to see if he can calculate. And do tell us. Maybe it's all of them. We didn't give you that option, did we? Maybe it's all of them that you want to tell us. Okay, so shall we do a demo before you all fall asleep listening to me waffle? This is the card that we're going to do to begin with. It's not as complicated as it looks, I promise you, but it does fold down perfectly flat. So again, this is one of those that sits with dimension. On the mantle, it is going to sit there beautifully, giving you little peekies between the different layers. But when it comes to posting it, it will post down perfectly flat. Well, not perfectly flat, because we're going to stick lots of dimensional items on it, but the mechanism's going to fold down flat. And this is a really simple mechanism that you can be creating, not only, of course, with these scrapbooks, boys papers, but with many different products. But it is a great way to kind of showcase how we can build up and create 3D effects really easily, but still not have to think that they're going to cost us an absolute fortune to post, if postage is something that's a concern to you. It isn't everybody, is it? Because sometimes we deliver them, or sometimes we just don't mind. I'm always kind of impressed with what the Royal Mail Service does, and I don't moan too often at what they charge us for our postage, and that's coming from somebody who spends a small fortune on postage in one format or another throughout the week. But it is, to me, always miraculous how they get it from A to B and do it so well. Okay, so what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to take the backing panel. So I'm going to give you some measurements as we do this. He says with fear in his heart because he can't see his rule that should be here. So I'm going to just retrieve a rule and we will give you a measurement for these panels because I know you're going to want to recreate this. I hope you're going to want to recreate this. So let's see if we can keep you on track. So we're about 8 1/4. So basically an A4 width, just trimmed down to make it a square. We're going to come in next with a piece of 8 by 8 of that lake blue, which again is our foundations card. And we're going to put some glue out onto this, and we're going to use our Jamie Rodgers Crafts Dries Clear Glue or clear drying glue. So we have no fear that if I end up with any bits and bobs laying around anywhere, that there's going to be a problem to them. So onwards we go, glue in hand. Come on you, wakey wakey. I need to top my bottle up. So we're going to add that round here, and we're going to add that onto our first panel. Just down like so. And I've added some of our 6mm cream pearls to the corners because I wanted there to be a little bit of a pattern going through on each of the layers. We're going to flip this over, and we're going to do exactly the same on the reverse. So same paper, same card, same pattern. We're going to add that onto the back of it as well because we wanted to make sure that there was a space to write on this card and a place to do so. So we're going to lay that down. And we're actually going to worry about the reverse while we're here first of all. So we're going to bring in just a piece of lake blue and with a piece of white on it, and we're going to stick that into the centre. And that's going to be what we're doing, theory B, the insert to our card. Now I've just taken this panel down to approximately 5 1/4 inches, but you could land that wherever you wish for it to be. Now back to this side. This is the side we're going to be working on. This is the side we're going to build up on. So we're going to start off with the next piece of card that we need, and we're going to trim this one down. This is pencil and paper time. We want a piece of card to be 5 inches wide, and then height is of course up to you, but I've gone for 7 inches. You could yo-yo that about as much as you wish. So 5 by 7 is where I am, and I've done that because I know that basically the card is just over 8 inches, but approximately 8 inches. So I'm looking for 1 inch steps roughly. Not exactly, but roughly. So what I've done from there, talking of 1 inch steps, is scored at every inch going across it. So 5 inches, 7 in height, scored at 1 inch all the way across. Now you're going to need a bone folder for this, and you're going to burnish each of these folds. So I'm just going to find mine, which is nestled in the top of my board. Give me 1 sec. There we go. And we're going to bring this in, and we're going to burnish across each of these folds nicely, just to make sure that this pillar collapses down perfectly. Now pillars are something I love working with because they are postage friendly, they give dimension, and they just are fun to create, and the options are kind of endless. There is loads that we can do with pillars, absolutely loads. Now my trick for doing these is always to make sure that your measurement is divisible by 5. So it doesn't have to necessarily be 1 inch. You might not want it to be that big. You might want them to be bigger. Choice is yours. But we're going to go for 5 equal measurements. And we're going to do that because when it comes to gluing them, this is really easy to do. We're going to fold in the last 2. So we're now down to 3. We're going to bring in our glue, and we're going to zigzag that going down that panel there. And then we're going to fold over the last panel, the last piece. And we're going to give that a good squidge, and then we know that is lined up and that is perfectly in place. Now when you're at home, you've got a moment to let that glue grab and set. Because if you're watching this live, the last thing you want to do is literally watch glue dry. That would be very, very boring. So I'm going to press on anyway. But if I had a moment, I would let it set completely, and then I'm going to take that pillar and I'm going to open it and close it in every direction, because we want the fibres of the card to break down and be able to move in any direction, because when your recipient receives it, or when you post this, when you lay it out, you might want it all to collapse down to the left, you might want it all to collapse down to the right, you might want one to go to the left and one to go to the right, and this is going to vary a lot. Like this balloon, this overhangs the footprint of the card. So I knew when I made this one, I wanted to make sure that that middle panel goes to the left. The top panel, I don't mind if it goes to the left or the right, it's irrelevant in this because I've not gone over that footprint. But when you're making it, it's nice to know that that pillar can collapse in either direction so that you can put anything on it that you want to. So we're going to move that pillar around a little bit, and we're going to do exactly the same for the next size down. So once we've done that one, we're going to repeat the process just as we did, but we're going to change the height of the card, and we're going to strip this down just about an inch, if I remember rightly. So we've got one at 6 inches and one at 7. And we did exactly the same 5 score lines, burnish, fold, glue, just as we did before to make our 2 pillars. Now I'm going to swap out the one we made for this one here, because I've already added in some of our cardstock into it. So when we've stood that card up, we see the cardstock across the top and not a white empty void. I've done the same on the smaller one as well. I say I have. My darling parents have, who are my kit packers. We're then going to move in on to our next layers. So for the next layer on this project, we're going to go for this one here. And this is going to be the first step within our card. So if we bring this in and we work out roughly where the middle is. Now, some rules have on them a middle finder, so that you can literally, and it counts up in both directions. I haven't brought one in with me actually this evening, so I'm going to do it by eye. But if you've got one with a middle finder on it, you can lay that at the top. You can make sure that you're right the way in the middle, and then you can go from it. You could, of course, work it out logically. We know that's 8 1/4, so we wish to be in the middle, but I'm never too worried. We're going to go by eye because of, you know, life's short and it don't hurt to be wonky. It don't hurt to be out of place. So we're going to add our glue onto our pillar just like before. And we're going to find roughly where we think the middle is to this panel, and we're going to add that on, making sure that our lake blue piece is at the back of that card. I reckon we're about right there, and I think we're about level. So we're going to give that a bit of a squidge. We're going to check that that's happy and bending. And we're going to bring in this panel, and we're going to eye that up to see if we are anywhere near right. Yeah, I reckon we're okay there. So we're going to have that in place. We're going to add some glue onto the top of that pillar. And then we're going to add on our white layer, making sure that that matches top and bottom to where we need it to be. Then onto that layer, we're going to bring in some of our beautiful paper once again. So we've got this beautiful panel here, and we need this area without the pearl because that's where we're going to stick our 60. So I've already pre-planned this one out, but you of course could go rogue, go different, be more creative than what I have. So we're going to layer that onto there. And you might choose to stop at this stage. You don't have to add another pillar on. You don't have to add more dimension onto this if you don't wish to. This might be the stage you're going to add your canvas on. You might do 2 or 3 canvases if that's what you would like to do. But we're going to stick to the plan. We're going to bring in our next pillar, and we're going to add our glue going around this one on the side where we've added that teal card in. And then we're going to look to where the pillar number 1 is, because we want to marry this up so that they're nesting up a bit like a snowman's head on a body. And we can give that a little pinch and check that we're in the right place and that those 2 pillars are approximately level at the bottom there. We're then going to go on to our next level up with our white card. So this time, did I give you the measurement for that piece? I think I did I not? 6 by 7, just in case I didn't, 6 by 7. And then this one is going to be 6 in height by 4 1/4 to give you an idea. We're going to add our glue going down here. And we're going to add this on. Now I know our lovely Gwen, whenever Gwen teaches you a fold or a card like this, and she's so right, and I always admire her because she is so on the money with it. She says, you know, I've given you this measurement, but actually I haven't given you the measurement. I've given you the recipe to be able to create what you want in this pattern, because it doesn't have to be exactly the same as what we do. We've given you an idea really. We haven't necessarily given you the footprint to recreate it and that's the only option. Of course you can do exactly the same as we have. We never mind, our ideas are here to be used, shared, borrowed, created with. But actually start thinking about all the different items you could be creating and all the different ways you could do it. You might choose to do another pillar or different pillars or smaller pillars or wider layers, or you might offset it all to one side and have it all stand back in one direction. It doesn't have to be the same as what we've created. It's just an idea for you. It isn't gospel that that's got to be what you create. Then we're going to give this a little fold. Now we are possibly pushing the boundaries of glue slightly. I'm very impatient, but I think that's okay. I think we're bonded, I think we're joined, I think we're happy. We've now created our triple layer look. And as you'll notice here, and this is again one of the reasons why I love having these pages in the different sizes, we've got the small print here of the damask. As we move to the front here, I've gone for the 12 by 12. It might be the smallest panel I've done, but I've used the largest paper. So we've got the 8 by 8 paper coming into the panel back here, but the 12 by 12 being used on this top panel. So even when we're shrinking down in size, doesn't mean we have to shrink down in the sizes that we're working with. Okay, so let's cut one of our canvases, shall we? We've chatted a little bit about how these are going to work. Let's show you them in action. So we're going to bring in this one, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and tell you this is the octagon. It is the octagon. It's got 8 sides. I've counted to 8. We've got it right. So we're going to bring in the octagon, and we're going to bring in our sheets, or our plates, sorry, and we're going to layer that together. Now I do need to find an image for us to cut out. I didn't think ahead, did I? So let's have a little look in here and see if I can find an image. And this isn't the right pad, but it'll do. Oh, should we go with this? I love this. Oh, here I go. I'm never very good at this. I think she might be perfect. Look at that for a size. I think we're going to go with that one. We're going to go with that beautiful lady, because she's the perfect size to fit with our large canvases. So let's find some scissors and we'll cut that one out and we'll send this through the old machine. So we only need one of them. Let's get rid of all of these pieces. Talk amongst yourselves for a second while I do a little bit of snipping. Peter, have you fell asleep, or do we have a tally of what one's winning?
Well, I could have had a little nap, couldn't I?
You're very quiet over there this evening.
Just sucked in by all these beautiful papers.
Okay.
There is a clear winner.
A clear winner?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that yet, am I?
Yeah, I'm happy to know the winner. What is the winner? Tell me all.
The one that we thought.
Not the one we thought. What one did we think?
Well, can't influence the voting now. So,
Well, the voting when it's not
the
voting,
Mariner one, or Marina, old Marina, wasn't it?
is the winner.
No, that's the one we liked, wasn't it?
That's the one I love. I adore that one.
Love a bit of blue.
The suspense is killing me. Come on.
I feel like I need a midway drum roll.
You can have a drum roll if you want a drum roll. Anything for a bit of attention over that side.
No, the Flowers Melody is the clear winner.
Flowers Melody. Flowers Melody, is
Okay.
it?
I think that was our second favourite, wasn't it? So
Wow.
That's our favourites.
Who us? Well, they always say you're not meant to, but why not? We've got an opinion. We're allowed an opinion, surely, aren't we? I don't know. Maybe we're not. I don't think we're very conventional when it comes to the rules of what we're supposed to do in any way, shape or form, are we? Let's be honest. Okay, so here we are. It's all cut for us. Now, wasn't I frugal with my cutting? Are you impressed? Because I am. There is no sideways to that panel whatsoever. That is literally the perfect fit. I am a little bit annoyed that I didn't check my bar out because I have cut through the middle of a word over here. This one, not so worried. Not too sure if I'm going to be using that anytime soon. Your day, though, still very usable, so not a problem there. But look at that for waste. You can live with that. That's frugalness at its best. So we'll pop out our canvas. Ta-da! Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Such beautiful imagery. Okay, so let's show you how these work. So around the edge then, everything is scored for us. We are just going to fold. Now I would always recommend that we burnish, but you don't want to watch me burnish unless I have to. So we're going to fold in the first fold. We're going to fold in the second fold. There is the wall built. We have a little tab up here that we're going to fold that back because that's going to be glued in a moment. We're going to go on to the next one. We're going to fold in, and then we're going to fold that bit in half just as easily. And we're going to fold in that little tab on the side there. You're going to get bored of this because we're going to fold again. We're going to fold again. And we're gonna, you've guessed it, fold in the tab. And then we're gonna do exactly the same again. And we're gonna do this 8 times. If you've got to put a kettle on, now's the time to do it. And then we'll move on to the next one. And we'll fold. And we'll fold. And we'll fold. I feel like we're doing synchronised swimming. Come on now.
That or some bacon.
All fold. Fold. Do you
Pivot.
fold in baking?
Pivot.
Pivot. It's a bit pivot-esque, isn't it? Pivot.
You fold in the flour.
Do you?
Do.
See, a little baking lesson for you here as well.
Just not to lose all the beautiful air that you've beaten into your recipe.
We can do it all here. Okay, so there is our canvas ready to be constructed. Now, as I say, I would recommend that you burnish the folds, but nobody wants to watch that. We're going to cheat and we're going to do this quickly. So all we're going to do now is we're going to start off with any tab. It doesn't matter where we really begin, but we want to pick a tab. Any tab will do. And we're going to add some glue onto that little tab, and I'm going to go for a glue gun because it's nice and quick. And I'm going to fold that wall up and I'm going to pop that tab into place. Now, I didn't think this through because I haven't got my tweezers. It's okay, we'll use the end of a paintbrush. All we're going to do is give that little push down to make sure that that tab is in place. And then we're going to open up that top wall and we're going to put some glue on there. And that is going to give our canvas the backing area that we need to be able to glue it down. There's no point in gluing it in one place and just creating what would look like a box lid. We need to make sure that we have got glue in 2 places so that we have, or walls in 2 places, so that we have the structure that we need and the ability to glue it down on top. Now you can, if you do these neat enough, you can even use this side instead if you prefer. So you might choose to have the kind of tabs all folded in one direction, or you might do them slightly neater. You could cut a frame and put it over the top of it and turn it into a box or a tray instead of a frame. There are so many options of what you can do with these canvases. They truly are endless, but they're very quick to do, as you can see. Just follow round. We've already built 1/2 of it, and we're going to carry on going around the top here, building up the top of it. And structurally, they become very strong. You might not think it for what is 250 GSM card, but they really are very, very strong. It's like an egg, isn't it? An egg isn't necessarily strong in its individual components, but when structurally put together, it's got an awful lot of strength to it, hasn't it? So add that one in, and then we'll open up the edge on this last one. We'll pop in a little bit of glue into there, and we'll do a little bit on the top there for there. And we'll fold that last one over and we'll let that grab. Now, if you prefer to work with red liner tape, or you prefer to work with glue or any other medium, then you absolutely can do. Not everybody likes a glue gun, so it's down to you. I've chose to use a glue gun this evening for speed because they are nice and quick at setting, and it just means we can move on faster. But it shows you how you can create the perfect canvas for your imagery. All built up, that image is going to run around all of those sides for you, so everything matches in beautifully. Now, I did have one of the castle ready to build, but I thought it would be nice to show you it cutting out in a different format. And I, of course, have one of the castles ready done to go onto my project. Now, when I designed these canvases, I wanted them to be slightly different. So I've actually made the wall, the side of them, at 7mm. And 7mm is great because it's not too deep and it's not too shallow, and they're not too fiddly. If we try and do 5mm, we've probably all done 5mm scores on a scoreboard before. They are very delicate. They can be an annoyance to try and fold against. 1 centimetre would have made them too prominent, too bulky, too big. So actually that 7mm middle point is the perfect place to be. It also means if you take your foam tape, and you don't have to do too much of this, but with our 2mm foam tape, I put 3 levels together in the middle, and it means that I've then got the perfect squidge in the middle of my canvas. So if you're worried about how am I going to post this without it getting damaged, how is it going to stand the test of time, how can I use it in home decor, how will it live up to all of the things that's going to happen to it, that little squidge of foam tape can really protect the insert of those canvases and make sure that they're going to stand around a very, very, very long time. So all we're going to do at this stage is take off the lids to that foam tape. We're going to add some glue running around the frame, not that one because that's my new ball. Let's go to this one. Little squidge. I really need to top this one up, Peter.
You do.
Need to top this up before we go live again. Okay, go around the top there. And then we're going to bring this in and we're going to place it down onto the middle of that picture. We'll let that set for a second. Now the foam tape is going to help quite a lot because it will give it a little squidge and it will help keep it in place already for us. And then we're just going to finish this off. We don't have to do too many bits to this, but we're just going to finish it off. I've got a 4U that I have trimmed out from one of those bars across the bottom of the 12 by 12. I've got a little horse, or not horse and carriage, sorry, but I've got a little carriage that we've trimmed out that is going to go on the edge here of our castle. That might actually go a little bit lower. I might even stand that up so that I can go in and pick where that's going to go, so that the wheels of the carriage are flat against the base of the card. Oh, I've got a flood. I've left me glue on the side of an eye. What a nana. There I was, all that pumping. And I left it on the side. I don't know. How wasteful was that? That's sacrilege. Honestly, not good enough. Caught up with what we was doing. Okay, and then I've got a little booklet with some flowers, and that's going to be nestled in the back here, all the way back in the blue area. I'm going to place that onto that little tab. Then we've got our hot air balloon, and that's going to come in, and we're going to give that a little shape actually. Just going to round that slightly. Got a bit of foam tape already on there, so that's a bit trickier than it could have been, but it's okay. Gives us a bit of depth. And we're going to place that going off over that edge. And then we've got two little numbers. We have got the 6 and the 0 for our 60, and we're going to place them up here in this top corner. If I can, and it could just be 6. Could be a lovely little girl's birthday card, couldn't it? Proper little princess theme number. Or of course, it could be for a little bit of a larger celebration too. And that completes our 3D card. Now, how simple really was that? All we did, other than a bit of mat and layering, is built 2 pillars and glued them together to make our 3D card. As simple as could be, to make that depth, to make that creation stand out. And again, make sure that when that's on the mantelpiece, it's going to look completely different to any of the other cards beside it, hopefully. Now, if you would like to win the one that I've just made, this is where your question comes in. What is your favourite size to work with? 6 by 6, 8 by 8 or 12 by 12 papers? So which is your favourite size to work with? 6 by 6, 8 by 8 or 12 by 12? Pop your answers in the comments and Pete will pick a winner later on to receive the card that I have created. So off you go, and we'll keep Pete on his toes once again with picking the winner from that competition too. Now, how are we doing for time, Peter? Oh, we're an hour and a half in already. Do you think we've got time for a second, or should we leave these lovely people in peace this evening?
Could have a quick one.
We can have a quick one. Do we
demo.
reckon we've got time for a quick one? Get in trouble when I go over an hour. Already an hour and a half. Before we do demo number 2 then, let's bring these in as well, because it'll be nice for you to see these. Now, these are the collections that are not available on the shows this weekend. These are the ones that are just available through stockists at the moment. So let's give you a little flash of these. We have got Paula's Attic. Very, very beautiful. This one's only available in 12 by 12. And in Paula's Attic, you can see some really lovely rustic designs. Again, running through the pages, you've got beautiful flowers. Look at these for little bouquets. You've got numbers running across the bottom of them. You've got beautiful tickets. You've got stunning bright florals behind them. You've got this great crackle glaze effects running across the front of these pages as well. Scripts over here and stunning window effects on there. That's Paula's Attic. Then we move on and we've got the Rusty Pack. The Rusty Pack again has the extra sheet on the back of the cover, and this time you've got loads of rust effects and sentiments to go with them. Very good for our masculine cards, especially our transport collection. That would work very nicely with these. Look at that for some rusty effects on paper. Isn't that beautiful? Then we move on and we've got Vintage Elegance. Now, our dear Gwen was down here over the weekend, as you know, for our demo. And I told her she's not allowed the ones that are on the TV. She can't touch the ones that are on the TV because I genuinely don't think we've got enough stock. Honestly, they were the words she was told. But I said to her, you can have a few of the others. And this is one of the ones that she chose to take the collection for. So I have a feeling you may see some inspiration come up from Gwen at some stage. They may even make it onto Gwen's shows at some stage, stock permitting. But this, of course, is the Vintage Excellence collection. Now, we didn't have enough stock of this one to put it on TV this weekend, so it gives you an honest truth answer as to why and how, when I tell you that there's not loads of it available, you might want to hunt this one out at a stockist quite quickly if it's one that you like the look of. And that one, as you can see, is available in 6x6, 8x8 and 12x12. And then Ali asked about Elizabeth. Elizabeth currently is only available in stock in 6x6 and 12x12. Again, an indication that stocks are low on this one, but it is a lovely, bright collection. This lovely, soft kind of duck egg blue mixed in with these beautiful pinks, and again, beautiful, stunning imagery running throughout the pad. Again, that crackle. Look at that crackle on this page. Look at the little puddy cat up there in the window. That little puddy cat would be looking at that little birdie thinking, breakfast. Breakfast. You can see it, can't you? Well, he would do if it was our little cat. Okay, so that's Elizabeth, and that gives you a little overview of the other pads and collections that are, of course, available through our stockists once they've all got their orders in and we've got this shipped out the door. Keep an eye on them because I'm sure they'll be announcing them in the coming days and weeks. Okay, on to our next card, and this one, again, very quick and simple, nothing complicated with this one. This time we're going to go for a little number with our boat, he says. Has your screen gone blurry or is it just my one, Peter?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. I think my camera's come back into focus, hopefully. There we go. If you've got fuzziness, it will go clear again, hopefully. Are you clear on your screen, Pete?
Yep.
Yeah? Good-o, good-o. That's what we like to hear. So nice, quick, simple card for this one. We're going to start off with our card blank, and we're going to go for an 8x8 ivory card, and we're going to bring in some of our card stock. So this one is the dark denim, if I remember rightly. Again, it will be available on the show this week, and we're going to place that down in the middle of that card. Let me just get rid of that edge. I've got a little bit of foam tape just hanging over the side there. And if we're sending it out to a winner, I want it to look the best it can look. They're never brilliant when I make them live. It's very hard to talk, work and do, or it is for me. So they're never spot on, but it'll hopefully give you the best version we can bring you. Okay, glue onto this layer, keeping this on nice and flat. And this paper's lovely. I could have gone with this side, to be fair with you, but we're going to stick to those beautiful florals. And actually, we're going to go rogue. We're going to turn it into a 10-fold. I love a 10-fold card, so we're going to go for a 10-fold because I don't think we did for the original one. And it'll be nicer to have it as a 10-fold for this one. Did I? No, I didn't. I went for a standard. So we'll go 10-fold this time. Then we're going to go on to the next size down. So 8x8 was our first point of call. Then we've gone down in 1/4 inch increments for the navy. Then a little bit smaller for the flowers. And then we're going to leave a nice 1/2 inch gap going around our next panel. We're going to bring in some of our coconut white, and we've got coconut white for you once again on the shows this weekend too. But this is one of the original Creative Expressions colours, so I'm sure you're going to find this at lots of our stockists as well. Coconut white has for long been that kind of essential colour that everybody wants and kind of goes after. Then we're going to bring in our 6x6 page. Now this is straight out of the pad. All I've done is added pearls to the corners. We could have done more to it if we wished, but I didn't want to. We could go for the navy script side if we prefer. But I'm going to stick to what we've done, and I'm going to go with the beautiful imagery that is on that front side to it. We're going to add our glue on, and we're going to place that down in that middle area. We're then going to go on to our canvas. So just like before, I've sped this one up a little. I've already gone and cut it, and we would do exactly the same. We would fold that up and around, and you could actually choose to go for this side if you prefer, but of course we went for that side. And I've gone ahead and I've had this built already just so you don't have to watch me build it again, because it's exactly the same as the one we just did only a few moments ago. Just like before, I've built up my foam tape in the middle, so it's got a nice structure to it, nice depth, and we're going to bring in our glue and we're going to add this going around the edge of it, just to give us that point of bond to go down onto the card. Now, before I forget, I'm going to work out where I want that to be. I think I'm going to go for that in around that area. And I'm going to find our little lighthouse tab. Now, these are one of the cutouts from the sheets. So on one side, we've got those little dots for us to add our journaling onto, or our dates, our little pieces onto if we want to. And on this side, we've got the lighthouse. And I thought it would be really nice if we went for this lighthouse. And we're going to stick this flat down onto our card. And we're going to work out that that's roughly where our canvas is going to go. And we want that to just protrude out of the side like a little tab. Then we're going to turn this over and we're going to anchor that down so that that sits roughly there. Now, one of my little tips with these canvases, if you're gluing these and you don't want to stand and hold them for them to grab, bring in a cutting plate and layer that over the top, because that's a nice weight to just hold that down while the glue grabs around the edges and makes that all bond together for you perfectly. It'll only take a second, but if you want to carry on with the next part of the project that you're working on, start die cutting out your next element, trimming out your next piece to go on it, it just gives you that second to carry on working. We're going to bring in the life is a journey. Ooh, and we're going to try and match this up neatly. And this again is cut from one of those little strips across the bottom of a 12 by 12. And I've added a small piece of foam tape onto that. And we're going to add that coming off of the side here of our little canvas. And that completes demo number 2. How quick and easy was that one? So if you'd like to win the 2 cards that we've created this evening, all you've got to let us know in the comments in the next couple of minutes before Pete picks his winner is what size paper pad is your favourite to work with. 6 by 6, 8 by 8 or 12 by 12. If you haven't done already, and Pete will pick a winner to have these sent out to somewhere in the world. And of course, as always, we'll cover the P&P to wherever they may be going. If you have any questions before we leave you, then again, please pop them in the comments, because we're going to wind this up and leave you in peace so that you've got a little bit of an evening left after we've waffled on for England. Now, there is another bit of good news. I'm going to be back with you on Thursday evening. Our dear Gwen, she's off on the road again. I know, that woman, she is clocking up the miles, isn't she? This time she's off to Sandown. She will be at Sandown for, what show is it? Is it Craftorama, Stamporama, Crafting Live, I feel.
Should we go with
Am I right for Crafting Live? I think it's Crafting Live. Come on, guys, help me out here. Rescue me in the comments. I'm pretty sure it's Crafting Live, but I'm probably wrong. But she will be on the stand for the Stamp Hut. Now, we met Paula. Paula come and see us over the weekend. Paula is the most amazing lady. She really is lovely. She is the owner of the Stamp Hut, and she's the one who is, of course, going to be looking after Gwen and hosting her on Friday and on Saturday. It's a 2-day demo for Gwen. So if you are in the area of Sandown and you would like to pop along to the show, I hear that Gwen is located just inside the door. You will not be able to miss her. And she is going to be bringing you inspiration with a whole host of goodies. She is going to have Crafty Concoctions, a little bit of Woodware, some stencil vault, some of the Creative Expressions stamp sets as well. Have I missed anything?
No, covered most of it.
But go and pick her brain. She'll kill me for saying this. But go and pick her brain, say hello, and something else she'll kill me for saying. Go and get a selfie. If you want a selfie with Gwen, she'd love to take a selfie with you or a picture. I'm sure she'll have a picture taken with you if you'd like to, and I'm sure Paula will help with that as well. But on Friday and Saturday, she will be at Sandown on the Stamp Hut stand, and I'm sure she would love to see you. So please do go and say hello to her. But it does mean Thursday evening, she will be there already and she will be setting up. So we are free from Gwen for a week, which is an absolutely awful thing. And I look forward to my Thursdays to see Gwen and catch up with what she's up to. But there is a bit of good news in a sense, not as good as Gwen, but I will be back with you. So Thursday at 7 p.m, be back here for another evening with me if you are willing. We'll stick with if you are willing. And on Thursday evening, I have a feeling, and I haven't completely confirmed on this idea, but when we've been talking about our demos and some of the techniques that we did at our demo days, a lot of people have been asking, how did you do that? What's been used here? Can you run me through this again? Can we have a video of this? Can we have a video of that? So Thursday, I thought we might tackle some of the bits I did at our demo. Now, I know some of you that watch all the time may have already seen them, but I thought it would be fun to try and refresh your memory on some of the things we can do with Crafty Concoctions and Enchanted Sprinkles and some of the other techniques that you might have seen me do previously or might be new to you. So Thursday, join me back here for a bit of a play session where we'll play with dotty stuff and all of those other combinations of products that I can think of, and we'll have a bit of a playtime and see what we can create. Then, where do we go from there? So that's Thursday. Give you Friday and Saturday, Gwen at Sandown. Then, we're not a million miles away from Gwen's demo day at Gwen's shop. And it's not actually in her shop, but it's at her shop as such. It's in the hall across the road. But on the 14th of March, we will be heading to Saddleworth. And I say we, because me and Pete are going to be there as well. So is Francoise. And not only is Francoise, me, Pete and Gwen all going to be in the building, Gwen's thrown open the doors. I know that woman, she's a little mischief. She'll bring in anybody and everybody, and she's certainly done that. We will have Carla Bagshaw there for the day as well. Carla will be demonstrating her cut by hand range of products. Sharon Curtis will be there with her Evelyn and Sage journals. They are beautiful. We love an Evelyn and Sage journal. If you haven't seen those before, they will be there at Gwen's shop or show or demo day. And Zentangle will be in the building as well. Is it Zentangle? No, it's Lavinia, isn't it? I'm getting this wrong. It was Zentangle that was there last time. It's Lavinia that's there this time. So Joe Rice will be there from Lavinia. So that's going to be a day and a half, isn't it? Joe Rice, Carla Bagshaw, Sharon Curtis, me, Gwen and Francoise, all in one place. I don't think I've missed anybody. But Gwen, if you're still with us and awake, if I have missed anybody or I've said anything wrong, please let us know in the comments. I won't be offended. Memory like a sieve. This store is of course located in Saddleworth, so it would be lovely to have you come along and join us for that if you're in the area. And then the last demo day I'm allowed to talk about just yet is Craft Bliss on the 28th of March. And we're trying to give you these dates in advance. I know it's a whole waffle that we go through every live, but we're trying to give you them as in advance as we can. Because if you might not be in Poole on the 28th of March unless you know about it. And you might think, well, actually, I'm going to travel from, I'm going to take Inverness in Scotland, am I right? Good, good. Yeah. You might want to go from Inverness right the way down to Poole. That's going to take some planning. That's going to take some dedication. You need to know about it. So March 28th, Craft Bliss in Poole. It's going to have Gwen in for the day. And again, I know that I had a lot of fun and mischief last time she was there. So if you can make it in store for that day, I know that Barry and Julie would love to have you with them. It's sure to be a fun time. We will, of course, remind you more about it on the lead up to it. Then lastly, before I let you go, we need to chat die of the week. But before we do chat die of the week, are there any questions about anything I've been waffling about?
No, Gwen just says that you are naughty.
Me naughty? What did I do?
Maybe the selfies? I don't know.
Maybe with the selfies.
No.
Gwen would love a selfie. I'm sure
naughty.
she won't object to a selfie. I'm sure she'd love to have you go and ask for a selfie. If you don't, Gwen, I'm sorry. Okay, die of the week time. You know this, every week we feature another die. We feature lots of inspiration from it, and every morning at 9 AM we bring you a little bit of goodness with it. This week's die of the week is the Frames and Tags Floral Harmony cover plate, CED 4498. It's designed by Sue Wilson. Its recommended retail price is $15.99, but a lot of our stockists may well have it with a cheeky 20% off, giving it to you for just £12.79. Here is just a little glimpse at a few cards that you will see being posted every day at 9 AM to give you more inspiration on what you could be being created with this set. It's a beautiful floral plate die, as you can see, very large, very easy to paper piece. Would be great fun to fill full of glitters. This is rather cheeky. I've not seen these cards before. This is the first time I'm seeing them. This one's done by Wendy. How cool is that? So using pillars like we chatted about on my demo, but actually turning them into steps so that that's going to stand up and you're going to see, can you see that all right if I hold it? You're going to get those 3 different colours radiate through. Doesn't that look effective? I like the way you've cut your top here as well using the scallop circles, Wendy. That's very, very creative. Very, very cool card. And then here's another one. Is this done by Wendy? I had a feeling it might be. Lovely little card there with a little bit of glitter sprinkled in for good measure. Another one here. This one is done by Sharon. Lovely Sharon. She's used an aperture card here and created a little effect with those two butted up together in the middle. Oh, this is rather swanky. This one's Sharon as well. Sharon's gone to town with her glitters. and some of the enchanted sprinkles and added them through. She's used that lovely Best Wishes die. That's one of the ones that we've currently got in our sale as well. And then lastly, another one from Wendy, and a nice white and blue colour scheme. That's very effective. You know I love a bit of white and blue. I'm not talking too much about these because I'm not even meant to be showing them to you. They're meant to be posted every day at 9 AM, and that's when you're meant to see them. So I'm being very naughty, and Tracy may well tell me off. So I'm going to whisk through them quickly, but it's nice to share them with you because I worked so hard on them, and it's nice to be able to share them with you while you were here. That once again should be £15.99, reduced to just £12.79. Okay, come on then, Peter. It is your moment to shine. Give us your winner for the week. Coming live to Peter.
Thank you all for bearing with us this evening. So,
bearing with us. Bearing with us.
You know. Thank you for all your comments and all your enthusiasm for the Scrap Boys goodies. They're lovely, aren't they? Nice, pretty papers. So yes, lots of comments, bits and bobs, different sizes. I think the winner, well, I'll reveal in a minute. Majority went with 8x8 sizes.
Ooh, good shout, good shout. Nice middle of the road size. We don't blame you. I would urge you to look at the smaller and the larger as well. Sometimes we go into these things, little tunnel videos.
All have a different purpose, don't they?
They do.
But anyway, you don't want to hear us waffle. You want to hear the winner. So without further ado. Congratulations to Paul Gunston, who won this evening's cards. If you want to, what are you grinning? I think it's.
It was the congratulations.
Was it?
It was a little Cliff Richards.
Was it?
I like it. Don't sing. We're not allowed to sing. Not allowed to sing. Facebook will be all over it. Sir Cliff, he'll be all up in our grill asking for royalties.
I'm looking for a button that I can press, but I daren't press the wrong button because there could be all sorts of good. Anyway, Paul, if you want to drop us an email to jamierodgerscrafts@hotmail.com. Let us know if you want your card signed and we'll get them popped in the post for you. Anyway, Cliff is leaving the building. I need a little mask come through.
Can't leave Kim's with us. She might have said you're Cliff Richards.
Cliff Richards tonight.
Cliff Richards. Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Cliff Richards.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I'm going to steal it back from
Debbie,
you to
we
rescue
still love you, Debbie.
Debbie made an appearance at the demo day. He appeared at a window wearing his Debbie mask waving. I really wish I'd taken a photo. It was very funny. Anyone who was here for the demo would have truly appreciated that, I'm sure. Congratulations, Paul, once again. It's so lovely to see that you're our winner this evening. Well done, and thank you all for partaking. One last reminder, this of course is your Scrap Boys range that will be launching on Hobby Maker or with us at Hobby Maker on Sunday at 1 PM and 5 PM. There will be 4 collections we will be featuring as we've highlighted this evening, and of course those canvas dies will be there with us as well. For how long? You decide. Do you like that? If I have a feeling they might go very, very quickly. Who knows? We will see. That is going to be your show for you on Hobby Maker Sunday at 1 PM and 5 PM. It's so lovely, genuinely, from our side to see you all so excited to welcome another brand into the Creative Expressions world. Now, once again, this is one that we're going to be distributing. It's, of course, based in Poland. They're an incredible company to work with. They've been so super friendly and super quick, as you can see, to get these here from when we met them in Frankfurt, to already have them here ready to go and on air with you in just over 2 weeks, I suppose, is pretty remarkable in comparison to some of the companies we try and work with and bring you. It's just a delight to be able to do that, and it shows their dedication not only to the industry but craft in general, and you can see that through their social media as well. As I said to you earlier, it's one thing seeing our inspiration, but don't forget to go and follow Scrap Boys and drop them a comment. Tell them whether you've seen their products, tell them that you're excited to see them here in the UK and that you've now got your places to go to get them through the Creative Expressions stockists and shows, because it's going to be an absolute delight to be able to help build the Scrap Boys community and see what you create with these items. Equally, with that in mind, when you've got created with your Scrap Boys products, don't forget to share them with us on our group. We love to see what you've been doing on the group, whether it's from one of our original brands as such or one of the brands we bring you and distribute. It's always a joy to see what you're creating, so please don't be shy, please share with us and join in with our monthly competitions as well. Currently throughout February we're doing one for Woodware. I'll let you read more about that in the events section because I've told you about it every other week, but if you haven't heard of me waffle on about it, check out the events section to find out more details about that. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I'm going to say good night from myself.
And good night from myself as well.
We will see you on Thursday,
See you Thursday.
at 7. Thank you for joining us. Night all.
Night.